Welcome to everyone who have joined today. So let's start the introduction. You can talk about yourself, your name, which city you are, and what you do. So simple introduction. Okay, so let me invite Meenakshi ji. You can introduce. Maybe you can unmute, and also maybe if you want, you can come on camera as well.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Myself, Meenakshi Chopra, and I'm from Jagannath International Management School, Vasant Kunj, New Delhi. And I'm working as an assistant professor in the area of accounting and finance, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank
Sir,
you for introducing.
thank you
Okay.
so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So maybe I'll invite Anshu Shukla ji to introduce.
Yes, sure. I hope I'm audible.
Yeah, it's audible.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, I'm Dr. Anju Shukla, and I'm also from JIMS College, that is Jagannath International Management School, Kalkaji. And I am an academician, and yes, I'm a trainer as well. So that's it about me.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for the quick introduction. Okay, so let me invite Ishwari Sharma. Ishwari Sharma, if you're there.
Good evening, sir. This is Ishwari Sharma. I am from Jindal Vidya Mandir School. I'm heading the school in Bellary, which is in Karnataka, and 4,000 students are there in our school. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for introducing. So let me invite Chandrasekhar. Chandrasekhar, you can introduce. Then we have Raghuram ji. Raghuram, you can introduce. Is my voice not audible?
Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you all today?
Yep, great.
Excellent. Well, I'm from Chennai, and after spending 35 years in the corporate field, I have hung my boots, and now I'm aspiring to become a trainer.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Thank you for introducing. Yeah. Next, Chandrasekhar, you are there. Then we have Bala.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Bala Narsiman. I'm also a trainer and partnering with Chandran and Excellent Learning Solutions, and have about 30 plus years of experience. And I also hung my boots, Mr. Raghuram, like you, in October 2019 after 26 plus years of corporate life, and now aspiring to be a trainer and working with Chandran to provide training solutions. That's about me. Thank you. And also just wanted to say, Anju ma'am is so humbly just said 3 sentences, but you don't know. She's an amazing trainer, professor, certified in so many psychometric instruments and so much more. It's a pleasure to see you, ma'am, on this forum.
Yeah, very good to see you after a long time.
Yes, ma'am.
Hope you're doing good, madam. Anju, madam.
That's really sweet of you, ma'am. Yes, I'm better now, sir. Thank you so much. Yes, sir. I'm
Sure.
better now, sir.
Do take
Yes.
care.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay.
Bala ma'am. Thank you, Chandran, sir, for such kind words.
No problem.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so great. Chandrasekhar, you are there. You can unmute yourself. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll start the session. We'll start with the introduction. So Chandran is a life skill trainer, also a business coach, and he has been, competent professional with almost 30 plus years of experience, providing leadership and consultancy in learning and development, program delivery, process management, and cyber security in the domains of IT and digital service transformations. So he's also experienced in training the professionals from entry level to the top leaders, also no, of global organizations, you can say, and he has also has a best practice on the life skills. He also create a lot of awareness, and he's one who's actually you can say he's always no, succeeded because of the self confidence, hard work, and perseverance. So this is with this, I would like to invite Chandran Ramaswamy. Okay, we call him Chandran Ram. So I would like to invite him to share his knowledge, and also I want to acknowledge no for taking up and stepping up for sharing his knowledge. So I would really want to acknowledge him. And also I have just shared a brief about him. So I would invite him to share a little bit about himself as well in the process. Thank you, Chandran. So over to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Kushalji, and good evening, one and all. I'm hoping that everyone is keeping good and staying safe. So please continue to do that. That is what the need of the hour. Okay. Thank you, Kushalji. And Kushalji has, in the introduction, he has covered most of it actually. But like Bala and Ram sir said, I have about 30 plus years of IT experience, and also I am saying that like I have not taken retirement, but I've toned it down. Actually, I'm not doing a full time, but I'm doing a bit of consultancy on program and process management and information security or cyber security with one of the IT organizations. So I am involved in an agrotech project. So, but on a very low scale, and I am aspiring to be a trainer, and I want to dedicate my time into this domain, collaborating with Bala on this platform called Excellent Learning. So I have a passion for many things. That's the reason which no, attracted me into this domain. So I want to continue this and contribute effectively into this training and development domain. Okay, so Kushalji, can we share this one? I can share the screen.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
Okay. All of you can see this my screen, I guess.
Yes, we can.
Yes, Chandran, we can see your screen.
Sure. Thank you very much. And let me get started. Good evening, friends. To begin this presentation, I will start it with a short story or an incident. Right before we talk about, before we all join together and explore this area called cultural intelligence, because we have heard about so many other intelligences like emotional intelligence, multiple intelligence theory and all that actually. So I was pondering over why don't we think about a topic called cultural intelligence. So that is the thought which drew me into choosing a topic like this. I was once I am fond of doing roaming around these market areas. So one day actually I was roaming this Avenue Road area. Actually, it's a very crowded area where all these shops, peculiar shops, will be there. So when I was going through this that Avenue Road side, I was looking for something on some idol, God idol, something like that. to my house. So I got attracted towards a shop which was selling these religious items and antiques, etc. So I just barged into that shop to see what is there. So once I barged into the shop, this shopkeeper or the person inside the shop stopped me, and he humbly told me, "Sir, can you please remove your footwear and then enter the shop?" Actually, I got very much surprised, actually, right? First of all, I was not aware that people do not enter that shop, without footwear. People are not allowed to enter with footwear, actually. And the humbleness in which, the shopkeeper was telling me. So I removed the footwear. I went inside and then did my purchase and then, came out. So many shops I have noticed in these areas and many places that before entering shops, like say some textile shops which are selling dhotis, saris, etc., and so many shops where the footwear is not allowed inside the shop. So you go without the footwear, do your whatever shopping you do, and then you come back. So again, this cultural practice, this is a cultural practice, which is followed in many places in India. I guess I think many other parts as well. This happened in Bangalore, so other parts also, I guess, will be following the same practice. One other thing is, going to a temple. So temple, I've seen, people leave the footwear outside, right? But for the footwear, there's no guarantee that your footwear will be there once, when you come back, actually. So jokingly, somebody told me a story like, a family went to worship into a temple with a child, and the father, everyone like left their footwear outside and then came back. The child asked the father that, what did you pray to God? So the father told that, where was I thinking about God? Actually, I was thinking about the footwear I left outside, that nobody should flick the footwear, and go away, actually. So jokingly, somebody was telling this, actually, right? So, but temples, we leave our footwear and then go and worship God with all the piousness and religious mind, and then we come back. Friends, how many of you agree with me that culture gives us an identity of what we are, where we belong to, and what our values are? Please raise your hand. I hope everyone will agree with me that culture gives us an identity, and what our values are, what our inner values are, actually, right? Whatever we do outside, whatever we do from the high end, actually, but culture is something what is inside us, whichever religion or whichever faith we follow, right? So now what comes to your mind, because different countries in the different parts of the world follow different cultures, right? So what comes to your mind when we think about, maybe I want some participation from our group, actually, right? But there will be, before I go further forward, so I want to just set an agenda, like say some interactions will be there. Our session will be very interactive, and in the session also we will have one group activity. If sufficient number of people are there, then we will split it into 2 or 3 teams, and then we will get a scenario and then discuss it, and then come back and then discuss the option, this one, our reflections on that, right? So when I tell about France, what comes to your mind? Quickly we can discuss 1 or 2 minutes.
Eiffel Tower.
France, Eiffel Tower. Other than that, okay, that is their cultural symbol, we can say, right? Egypt.
Pyramids.
Egypt, pyramids. Yeah, good, very good, very good. Thank you. Japan.
Quality.
Quality is built into their culture, actually, right? Very interesting, very, very interesting, actually.
Respect for the old and aged.
Yeah, age and loyalty.
Cherry blossoms.
Cherry blossoms, yeah, of course. They enjoy their happiness. Basically it is reflecting their happiness. When cherry blossoms comes, actually Japan people are eagerly waiting for that spring, April time, April, May time actually, right? So they eagerly await, and then they go to the places where this flower is there, right? And Japan,
and also culture have a lot of I mean, the way that they respect and the way that they treat people, there's a lot of respect in what they do things. They're very disciplined, very cultured, perhaps.
Definitely, yes, absolutely. Another interesting thing is their integrity. I read somewhere, I had visited Japan 2 times. So before going there, I just was reading about their Japan tourism. So in the one of the authentic guides of tourism, they have mentioned that don't bargain with Japanese, and also don't doubt their products, because they are very passionate about the quality of their products, and then they won't cheat. So they are utmost people with integrity in the world, actually. One of the very, nice people with the integrity. Chinese means when China, when I say China, what comes to your mind? Like say.
Corona.
Right, but Corona is definitely not their culture, I guess. Culturally, what other things which come to your mind?
Cheap products.
Products, painting,
innovation.
Great Wall.
Innovation.
Great Wall of China, yeah. Architecture, opera, costumes, all that actually. Jamaica, Caribbean. They love
Dance.
music.
Music and dance.
Their kind of Aboriginal dance is there actually, right? So that Red Indian dance. So all those things they are fond of. India, no need to tell, because it's a lot of diverse cultures, right? Every direction you go, you get one culture or the other, right? So and so on. We can go on and on and on this, right? Right. Okay. So I want to just, before going ahead, I want to ask all of you. So what do you think culture is, and what can you relate culture with? Just ponder for a minute and give your thoughts.
We can create culture in our own organizations, like building systems, reliability, honesty.
Yeah, we can, but what is that actually? What is it related to? What can you relate culture with?
In my opinion, it is identity.
Identity, yes. Identity is one. Value. It is related to the values.
Beliefs,
way of life.
Values, yes.
It's like our foundation, culture. If you look at how we are brought up, there's a particular culture we belong to, a particular community has a particular way of doing things. And when we are brought up, the way we come across, way we do things is all part of one kind of culture that we belong to.
Yes, absolutely. So in other words, culture is basically, it's a set of inner values, beliefs and characteristics and knowledge held by people, which is covering language, religion, food or cuisine, social habits, music and arts. All these things, when we talked about these countries, I think we touched upon, right? It covers all these things. The impact of these values and beliefs reflect on the behaviors, the people behaviors and the environment. Agreed or not?
Yes.
Right? Okay. So that explains culture. Okay. Any thoughts on what is cultural intelligence? We talk about culture, but what could be cultural intelligence? What is so intelligent about the culture? Okay, so let us see what it is actually. It's an ability to engage in a set of behaviors that uses skills and qualities, right? That are tuned appropriately to the culture-based values and attitudes of the people who one interacts, whether within the country or within the region or outside the country, right? So it is basically the knowledge about the culture, the awareness about the culture, and the specific skills which constitutes the cultural intelligence. Let us see what it is. Let us just explore. So when you say knowledge about the culture, means that it's basically the cultural traits and facts. The The awareness means that basically it is the awareness about your culture as well as other culture. We told, no, our culture is basically footwear is not allowed inside homes and things like that. So much cultural practices are there. Similar to that, there are other countries also which practice the same, their own cultures actually, right? And what are skills? Skills are nothing but behavior. Application of these awareness and the cultural traits within one another is nothing but skills. So in total, these are all the components which are constituting the cultural intelligence. Basically, I think knowledge about the cultures, which is the facts and traits, the specific skills, which are the behaviors, and then the cultural awareness, the self-awareness, and the other means about yourself as well as the others actually. So that constitute the cultural intelligence. All these three components interact with each other and are required for cultural intelligence to grow actually, right? Clear? Okay, so before we going forward, so we all know about this Howard Gardner's multiple intelligence theory, right? So multiple intelligence theory talks about certain aspects based on IQ and certain aspects based on non-IQ, right? So see, there is an element of multiple intelligence theory which is also associated with cultural intelligence. So let us see what it is. So there are IQ based things which are linguistic and logical, which are with the multiple intelligence theory of Howard Gardner, right? And also there are certain things which are not measured by IQ tests, the non-IQ based, which are spatial, musical, body or kinesthetics, and inter and intrapersonal aspects. So these are all the things which are uh, related to multiple intelligence theory. But some of the aspects will be encompassed by the cultural intelligence. We are going to see what they are. So the combination of multiple intelligence theory plus emotional intelligence also plays a part in this. Some of these aspects come into that combination is giving rise to cultural intelligence, which comprises of these four aspects, or we can say four main aspects of it: linguistic, spatial, intrapersonal, and interpersonal. Let us explore what it is, right? When you say linguistic, so when you say linguistic, is nothing but it's language, right? Language. Let us take a scenario. Somebody is coming and trying to sell something to you, or you go to a shop and then you are trying to purchase something, right? So that sales, you belong to a particular part in the region. Say for example, I belong to Kerala. I go to a shop in North India, Maharashtra, somewhere, and I want to buy something, right? That shopkeeper, somehow he identifies that I am a Keralite, and then he starts to talk to me in some Malayalam, right? For example, right? Say like some broken Malayalam, actually, right? Will I get impressed by him or not? Okay, I suppose I like his product, right? So I go to his shop, and also there is another adjacent shop where the same product is there. Everything is equal. For example, price, everything is equal. So this shopkeeper tries to be friendly with me in Malayalam. The other shopkeeper doesn't know what is Kerala, right? So which shop I will choose, which person I will choose actually, right? Naturally, I will only choose the first one, correct? Because he tries to be friendly with me, right? So this is where the culture works, right? So that is the linguistic. You would have seen it in many places, right? You tried, you are from Kerala, you are from Karnataka, you are from Bangalore. Oh yeah, I have visited Bangalore. Like that, no, people talk, right? Sales or business people talk, right? So that's, they are trying to establish a cultural connection somehow or the other, right? So that is one of the aspects. Spatial is what? Space between people, how people talk to each other, how they stand, are they standing too close to each other, how are they shaking hands or touch each other, bow to each other, like Japanese and all, they bow. That is how they wish each other actually. So, and how chairs are arranged in a meeting, where the chairperson sits and all those things. It's something to do with the spaces. So spatial. Intrapersonal. So what is intrapersonal? Intrapersonal is basically your own cultural styles and then others' cultural style. That's what we just saw actually, right? I'll tell you an interesting incident actually. I went to a shop and I gave some money. There was a boy, and then the boy was there in the shop. His father was running that shop actually. So I gave the money and then I purchased something, and he was trying to give me the balance, right? So the balance, the guy gave it to that child actually. And then the child gave this note, rupee, means that money to me using left hand actually. So immediately I got surprised and asked that why he is using his left hand. So that person was not aware of the culture and said that he's a lefty. It happened in here, I'm saying, in our place, right? So he's a lefty, he said. So that's what. So like say like if we are not aware of the culture, and if you do that, people will get surprised. Actually, these kind of surprises can happen actually. Another incident I'll tell you. When I was studying in my college, one person gave a invitation. I think his sister's wedding invitation or something like that. Me and my friend was standing, and immediately after receiving that, I folded that invitation card. The invitation card was like this, and then I folded it. My friend didn't say anything to me. The guy went off, and then after the guy went off, my friend told me that it's very rude to fold an invitation card. It's not cultural to fold an invitation card like that. They will feel very bad. He told like that. From that point onwards, I realized that, like, say, in our culture itself, I was not aware that certain things are there, right? And whenever somebody gives an invitation, another thing is that you have to receive it in both the hands. So these are all some of the cultural aspects. What is interpersonal? Interpersonal is basically an ability to reach out and communicate with someone, even when the use of language is not possible, or you are not able to, if you go to an alien place, right? If you go to Japan, they don't know English, right? But how do you converse with them? You need to buy certain thing and things like that, right? They don't know English. China also, they don't know English. Thailand also, they don't know English, right? So they are, means there are certain people like that. So the ability to communicate, right? Ability to read the intentions and desires of others, even when they have been hidden. They have been hidden actually, and anticipate their motivations and desires. One good example is the Helen Keller story. Helen Keller and Annie Sullivan. So if Anne Sullivan is able to establish that fantastic communication with Helen Keller, why not we actually? So that is the question we need to ask ourselves. Hope things are clear, right? Hope up to this it is clear, right? Next, what are the fundamental dimensions of this cultural intelligence, right? These are the four primary fundamental dimensions. You need to have a drive, you need to have the motivation and the interest, right? To culturally align, to get culturally aligned, you need to have the knowledge, you need to have that knowledge about your culture as well as the other cultures. You need to strategize how I am going to handle this. So that strategy part should be there. And also you need to act on it, right? So these four things form the fundamental dimensions of the pillars of the cultural intelligence aspect. Having said all these things, actually, have you thought about what is cultural shock? Any thoughts? Just we'll take 1 minute and then see what is a cultural shock. See, when I went to Singapore, actually, right? I lived in Singapore for 15 years, actually. I got so many cultural shocks actually, because getting a vegetarian food is only certain places it used to be available. So you need to you need to put up with like salad or something like that. So very limited this one. So they eat the non-vegetarian food, anything. Um, we visited Abu Dhabi a couple of years back with the family. Um, so I went with my wife and two daughters. So when we go inside that, ladies should compulsorily wear this burqa. That their burqa, or what you call it as hijab, is it? That one, the one you need to cover the whole this one with that hood on the this one head actually. So I also didn't know. So ladies are they must wear that. Similarly, like there are many strange customs, in various places. Anyone wants to share a couple of them?
May I?
Sure,
Manohar
sure.
here.
Please,
Okay.
sir. Go
I
ahead.
want to bring in the context of what you have said, sir, two instances from my personal experiences.
Sure.
One is you talked about, the folding an invitation card. Similar experience I had in Hong Kong, and I had gone. There was a Chinese shop, and then after the shop, and he offered a card, his visiting card, the business card.
Sure.
Then my tendency is that, because when you have so many cards, how do you remember whom you met, what, etc.? I just turned the card back and started writing that date. And I met in Hong Kong this guy, and this is what they think. And
Okay.
he reacted he pulled the card from my hand
Okay.
rudely. I asked him, what is happening to you? No, you can't take my card and write over it, etc., etc. He started talking. That was a cultural shock to me, number one. Two,
Yeah.
I have had opportunity to visit Pakistan 3 times in my life.
Okay.
And I've gone to different places. Our belief, just now we were mentioning about Abu Dhabi, women wearing the burqa kind of things. I was there in Lahore. This particular instance happened in Lahore, in Punjab area of Pakistan. Now, here, there was a journalist who came. I was part of a delegation. We were also looked after by the Indian embassy there and all that. So we were staying in a hotel. So there was a correspondent of a newspaper who took an appointment to meet me after a particular meeting. And then she asked me, where are you staying? I said, we are staying we were in Hilton, say so-and-so hotel. I said, okay, can I come and take some 10-15 minutes of yours? I said, fine. Then I called another colleague of mine also to join in the lobby was too many people. He said, can we go to your room? Then what I did was I asked two of my colleagues who had come also to join me in the room, because I didn't want to entertain a lady in my room, that too going to a country like that.
Yeah.
So she came. Then we sat together, and then I offered her a coffee and all that. So then, what and then fortunately, I also took one lady colleague with me. We were there in the room. Then she pulled out her bag and picked up a cigarette.
Okay.
And then started smoking in the room. Now I know why she asked to, she preferred to come to the room and talk to and discuss the subject, because she wanted a smoke. Then in public area, she couldn't. But then, firstly, I didn't see the burqa wearing women, many in that place. They were all quite modern and, they're all, more gracious and more beautiful than elsewhere that I have seen in Pakistan. But then then I thought they follow these kind of customs and kind of thing. But firstly, no burqa, mod, not just that lady, many of them. And she was a family lady too, again. But then that smoking was a cultural shock to me in that place. So these two instances, I thought I'll bring it in the context of what you said, sir.
Definitely, absolutely, yeah. When we go to different places, only we will be, seeing all these things, which we are not accustomed to. Right. In Singapore, again, I'll tell you, like they openly, these boyfriend and girlfriends, they do everything in public, actually. They in the public transport, trains, buses, and all those things. So that gave me a big shock to me, because we are never used to all these things living in a country like India, right? So in Singapore, no, it happened like that, but nothing beyond that. But normal love making, all those things, actually, right? So that definitely will give a cultural shock. So
can I say something?
Sure, sir. Raghuram, sir.
Yeah, could be a little lighter one.
Sure.
This was, I lived in Oman for 21 years. The first time when I went there, we were walking as a family on the sidewalk, and we happened to see a major accident.
Okay.
Two vehicles collided, and we were actually anticipating there is going to be a road rage, there is going to be possibly a very emotional outburst and anger, display of anger, and possibly even few fist blows.
As it happens here. As it happens
Yes,
here.
that's what I have seen. I am used to road rage.
Sure.
To my utter surprise, both the people got down from the car. Firstly, they parked it to the side.
Okay.
They got down and then shook hands, and they were actually inquiring, how are you, how is the family, and so on and so forth. Yeah. And then they peacefully got together on the sidewalk, called the cops, and then cops came there, and we were just watching this, and absolutely we were shocked. It was a culture shock to me. And that's,
yeah, absolutely.
It was an amazing display of humanness, actually.
Yeah, absolutely, correct.
And then when we were trying to cross the road, the vehicles came to a grinding halt to allow us to pass first.
Yeah.
And then they moved. Possibly if you try to do it in India, maybe you will never move ahead because there's so much of crowd.
Yeah.
But on the lighter side, but I could really feel the humanness as a culture there.
Absolutely.
So it was a culture shock to me.
Another interesting thing which I have seen in Singapore, I'll share with you. Night 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., I was going somewhere. Actually, I think I took a cab and then I was going somewhere. So, but in Singapore, throughout the day and night, all the signals will be operational. Red, green, amber, like that. So these cab drivers, even if the signal becomes red, the road will be totally empty. Just like our lockdown, it will be totally empty. So these cab drivers, they'll wait for the signal to become green and then only they will move. Correct. Even if absolutely there is no traffic at all on the road. Yes. That is in the night. That is no odd hours of the night. So all these things, like I got totally, like you want to say a shock or surprise or whatever it is. But that was a very different experience. Right. So we will move on with that. Thanks for all the thoughts. So let us come to the first of the aspects actually. So what you need to have, what all of us need to have to start this journey of cultural intelligence. First and foremost is the drive. You need to have the interest, confidence, and motivation. What is the level of confidence and motivation for you to align cross-culturally? And what can you do to increase that? If there is a gap, how do you know whether there is a gap? And then how will you bridge that gap? So a few things which we have to be mindful about. We have to be very honest ourselves. Suppose say we are deputed or as part of job, or we are visiting some country which is not familiar to us. We have to be very honest, saying that okay, I don't know the culture. I am going to learn that what is there actually, right? We need to have the open mind and assess your confidence and eat and socialize. Like say, once you go there, first thing what people do, right, is eat actually, right? Let us go and have a coffee. Let us go and have a lunch, dinner, like that, right? Count the perks. Like say, okay, fine. You get convinced to yourself that, okay, fine, I am going to gain so much economically by visiting this country or this part of, as part of my job or whatever it is. These are some of the aspects actually, which we need to think about, right? We need to be aware of. The next aspect is the knowledge. Very, very important actually, right? So we said that, like say, you need to have an awareness about our culture itself. Many things which we are not aware of our culture itself, we don't have that knowledge. then only comes to the other culture, right? So we have to, like, say there is a role of culture in self as well as the other awareness are three parts actually: universal, cultural, and personal. We will come to that. What is universal, what is cultural, and what is personal? But broadly, if you take, right, what are all the basic cultural systems? If you look at it, a country's economic systems, right? You need to be aware of it if you before you go there, whether it is a developing country or developed country or what country it is, right? Marriage and family systems, their family, how it is organized and things like that. Legal and political systems, religious systems, arts and their traditions and all that actually, right? So these things we need to be aware of. Learn those, their core culture. What is their core culture, and then try to learn it, some part of it actually, and then try to understand different languages. When I went to Singapore also, I tried to learn at least some of the things actually, how to say thank you, how to say welcome and all that actually. So at least few things. So then those people will feel very happy. They also will do that actually. They also will reciprocate it. This is how the relationship is strengthened and then built. So let us go to what is universal, cultural, and personal. So I want to take the analogy of this iceberg. So this iceberg, basically on the top, it looks like a small portion, right? But in the bottom, it is so deep in the bottom actually, right? So it's about 20% is above water and 80% is underwater, which means that the important aspect of the culture are contained in the invisible and unconscious aspects of the culture, right? It is a foundation of what is in the top, right? Let us come to here. So universal is basically the things which are seen in the top, means you can say overall, like say on the surface. You have love and happiness, sadness, common fears, parent-child relationships. These are all universal everywhere. In any country you go, there will be a parent-child relationship. The characteristics of that relationship will be different. So that is it. But this is there. Universal, it is the truth, right? The middle part, if you take, is the cultural. So what is it actually? Like what we said, the arts, the food, the money, the customs and practices, gestures, etc. That is the cultural artifacts and systems. And also cultural values. So some of the belief on leadership, perceptions, feelings, etc. That comes in the middle layer. The layer which is in the depth actually, right? If you look at it, opinions, attitudes, philosophies, convictions, all those things will come inside that actually, in the depth actually, the very bottom of that 80%, right? That is basically the individual characteristics, personal characteristics, and all those things actually. So where we stand is in the middle path, which is the middle side. Then we need to get acquainted ourselves into that part, so that we can bridge both. So let us quickly look at the customs and practices in some of the countries, right? So India, we said footwear outside, and some villages, they provide one glass of water for anyone who visits their house. Japanese, they bow when greeting each other, right? It is rude to eat or drink while walking in Japan. In Singapore, actually, even when you go for a tea, in India, when you go for a tea, for like say 4 friends go, one person pays and then others forget it. But here, even in Singapore, even $1 if somebody pays, if I pay for the 3 people, the 3 people will give me $1 each to me. They are very particular about it. And left hand, using left hand is not considered appropriate, that in many countries. And tipping is allowed in US, but in South Korea, it is not very open, and it's not, it is rejected. Tipping is rejected. Any thoughts? We'll pause for a minute before we move forward. Any thoughts on any of their any of the some practices they know about any other country? 1 minute we will spend.
If I may add, sir, here,
Sure. Yeah.
my experience in China, normally when we were traveling, we were picking up a few gift items to give it to people. And, we pick up what is good, what can be used on the desk. And then we take some Buddha image, if you know that, okay, there is Buddha, or you pick up some clocks and kind of things.
Right.
It just happened that when we gave a table clock, it was not appreciated by the guest because cloth is inauspicious as a gift in China, number one. Two, Buddha is the last leg of life in their journey.
Right.
Their birth is celebrated in the, is like a Christian, like, they celebrate the birthdays and kind of things. Marriages happens in Chinese way, and death ceremonies happen in the Buddhist way.
Okay. Okay.
So it was out of no knowledge we picked up these things and then went. And then it was a learning for us when we deciphered what happened there by talking to people. I mean, then we started using this also as a learning material when it comes to cross-cultural understanding, in the global scenario kind of things. And then as you start getting into it, country by country, culture by culture, there is so much as you go deeper into it. It's unlimited. There is so much to learn. There are special schools that have come up only in the cross-cultural learning kind of things, particularly Japanese, Chinese, and those kind of things, And in some places, even if you are not alcoholic, or even you don't have to be alcoholic, even to drink wine or, something, when they offer something, if you refuse because you don't drink, will be considered, very rude.
Yeah.
You may take it, you may not drink it, but you just hold it, receive it is okay. Is all that some of the things I just wanted to add here. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks very much.
I would like to add two things. Chandran, I just want to add one more thing.
Sure.
You actually told about Singapore, wherein in the night also at 12 o'clock people stand there, taxi stand there. In Singapore, $500 is the common myth. $500, if they whatever everything is recorded in the, it's like in our
CCTV
also,
CCTV
camera is fixed.
Yes.
Camera is fixed. So if you try, there it is very strict that only 3 times they will be warned. First 3 times. After 3 times, license, they cannot own a car. And
license will be revoked.
License will be cancelled. So in Singapore, that is the problem. So they are very, they are the strict. They follow it strictly. You cannot litter on road, and you cannot.
Raghuram sir, you won't believe. One of my friends got fined $20 for jaywalking on that Serangoon Road in Singapore. Jaywalking is basically like you just cross the road like what we do here. So somebody watched and then he was fined $20.
They charge so much actually. Penalty. The government lives on penalty only actually. Singapore.
No, that's fine, but it is imbibed into the culture, right? So
that is also.
You follow the culture. Sir, Raghuram sir, you were saying.
I want
thanks, Raja sir and Manoj.
Thank you.
Two things, one from Japan and one from Oman.
Sure.
I had dinner in one of the restaurants in Japan, and once I was done, I paid the bill, and I had left the tip inside that folder which they give, and I just walked out of the restaurant.
Sure.
No sooner than I would have walked out, the lady who was serving me came running and she returned the money to me. And I could not communicate with her because I can't speak Japanese, neither she could speak English.
Right.
So I accompanied her back because I had just taken a few steps out of the restaurant. So I went inside and the manager was, he received me very well. And then he said, there is no tipping in Japan. We consider that as impolite to receive.
Absolutely. Yes.
The service is an honor which we give to our guest. So that was something which was a wonderful custom practice which I saw there.
Absolutely.
The other thing is, in Oman, they have a very nice culture of when you meet someone, you extend your hand and you shake hands.
Yes.
But there is a method for that, which I found it very intriguing and interesting. I had got to meet someone and he was right there. But when I went inside, he had a few guests of his were also sitting there. It so happened that one of the guests was far well known to me, and I said hello to everyone, and then I shook the hands with that gentleman first. And then I went and shook hands with the person whom I want to meet.
Host, okay.
Yeah. And then everything went on well, and it was all done. And but later on, I came to know that there is a particular method. Whenever you go to visit someone, irrespective of the age of the person, first you shake your hands with the host. And then the next one, you got to shake hands with someone who is the eldest in that group.
Oh, okay.
And then you start from the extreme right.
Okay.
And then go around the room and shake hands with everyone present.
I see. Okay.
You cannot leave out anyone. And see, many a times when we go to meet somebody and if they are someone whom we don't know, I think, we all make the mistake of not even recognizing they are there.
Correct.
We don't even look at them. We don't give an eye contact. We just talk to that man whom you know, you do, or you go about your business and then you walk out.
Right.
Which is something is considered to be extremely rude in that country.
Correct. Correct.
And, there is a thing which they follow is, they call it al-yamin, which is you have the right of the way if you're on the right side.
Oh.
So wherever you go, supposing you are trying to enter a lift or you are entering a door or something, the person on the right is allowed to go first.
I see. Okay.
So there is no question of colliding or getting embarrassed, two people getting in together or something like that.
Correct.
So there is some excellent orderliness which is built in as a culture.
Culture for a purpose. It serves some purpose as well.
Absolutely. So I was quite amazed, and in fact, I am practicing it in my life.
Yeah, that is the fantastic thing. We will not forget all these things. One experience, we won't forget it, right?
I personally feel that's got a very nice orderliness built in that culture.
Correct.
And I follow it even today.
Right. These are all etched into our minds, actually. Like that invitation card episode I said. I never forgotten that from in my life. So that's the thing. That's a learning we get. Thanks, sir. Thank you, Ragam, sir.
Thank you for the opportunity to share.
We will move ahead. So then comes the strategy. So which is the third dimension, right? So you need to become more aware of it, more self-awareness. And once you get that desire and the knowledge, then the strategy, you need to get a strategy as to how you want to do that. How do you plan? So what basically it is, how exactly you plan to gel into that. So that is the strategy you need to devise, right? One example is like say McDonald's. They want to came to they when they were introducing into India, into the business actually. So they came to know that somehow they know that Indians we don't eat beef actually, right? So what they did actually, their strategy was to introduce the veggie burger, correct? So the people to gel into the culture of the Indian people, they have introduced the veggie burger and then avoid the taboos. Basically, these are all some taboos in India, right? So they avoided totally that. So that is one of the good strategies. So that kind of things, when you want to develop into the culture, develop the cultural intelligence, you need to think about that. Plan your cross-cultural interactions and check your assumptions were appropriate. So checking means basically feedback. You need to get to the feedback from the other people, like you said, you came to know from other people, like, okay, you have to start from the right and then shake hands, right? So like that, we get the feedback so that we get gel more and more into the culture. Then we go into the fourth pillar, right? So the fourth pillar is basically know when to the changing verbal and non-verbal actions appropriately when interacting cross-culturally. So here basically the communication, you need to mend your communication if it is not gelling well with that culture. Negotiate differently. Negotiate differently means that, like say, see, in Asian countries, first, whenever somebody comes for business, the relationship is established. First, they will socialize, they will go and have lunch, dinner, etc. Then all those ice breaking and things like that, then only they will come to the business. Whereas in Western countries, it is not that way. They directly jump into the topic, right? They just talk the business once you meet the person. Actually, that is the difference. So depending on the culture you are dealing with, then you need to alter the things accordingly. So that is what it means. Like, say you play golf, take them to somewhere off-site, and then establish more relationship before coming to talk to business. However long it takes, first is the relationship. In Asia countries, that is the trend, that is the culture. In Western countries, it is different. So we have to adjust ourselves accordingly. And again, know when to flex and when to not flex. Know when to be flexible, when not to be flexible, based on the country you are in. So that is how you plan your actions, or do your actions to gel more and more into the culture. So first we saw the first one was the drive, or the desire, or the interest. Second is the knowledge. You acquire that knowledge, then you devise your strategy, and then you action it, right? This is a cycle. So wherever there are gaps, then you go back to the first step and then come. Then this cycle, you improve, and then you will find yourself that you are very well gelled into the culture. Any thoughts, any questions so far? We are going to get into an activity now. It's a short activity. Kushalji, we have time, right? Like, say, I thought some 10 minutes for the activity and 5 minutes for each group. See, there are 21 people are there. So we will divide them into 3 groups, equal numbers. And then there are 3 scenarios are there. So each team will take each scenario, discuss for 10 minutes, and then come back, and then each one will present for 5 minutes. Is that fine?
Yeah, you can share the scenario now itself, so that
Yes.
they're aware that team
are
one.
you able to see the full screen?
Yeah.
So but which is the team 1, which is the team 2, which is the team 3?
Yeah. So what I suggest is, maybe all the participants who are there can take a snapshot of this right now.
Yeah, I will
and
leave
whatever
the
the
screen
team
like
they are
this.
in,
I
room
will
1,
leave the
room
screen
2,
like
room
this.
3, like
Yeah.
what is 1, 2, 3 is there, that is room 1 is 1, room 2 is 2, room 3 is 3. So it will be
Yeah.
randomly picked and put in the group.
Right. So you will be able to do the room?
Yeah, I'll be doing it right now.
You do it. Yeah, sure. So 21, 6 people, I think. Now it is 17. So 6 people each. So discuss these scenarios. They are all cultural based only, right? And how will you handle that situation?
So shall I open the breakout room? Everyone has taken the screenshot. If you have taken the screenshot, put in the type it yes in the chat box, so that we know that.
Yes, taken, sir.
Okay, taken a photo. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm assigning into 3 breakout rooms. Okay, so the participants would be around 4 to 5 per room. I'm opening the room right now. Yeah. So the breakout room is open. You can see the message coming on your screen. You can select yes to join.
But I will not be able to visit, right? So I have to just join.
Yeah, you are a co-host, right? You can do it. Or I can move it anytime if you want.
Okay.
Please join the rooms. You would have got this. Jaydeep, Dr. Anju, can you join the room?
Sorry, can you repeat, sir? I couldn't hear.
Can you just click on join room? You would have gotten message on your mobile or WhatsApp. Not my WhatsApp, sorry, on your screen.
On my screen.
Yeah.
Breakout rooms, right?
Yeah, breakout room. Yes. Click on that. You will join that. Yeah. Jaydeep, can you join?
Yes, sir. You can add me. I'm sorry, I was away.
Okay, click on join room, breakout room. You will be able to join. See, you just